The year is 2021. Lewis Hamilton has won the last 6 out of the 7 Drivers' Championships, completely dominating the sport. Mercedes have built dominant car after dominant car, but this year was slightly different. Come the final race of the season, they both were on equal points with 369.5, with the winner taking it all. One becoming the greatest driver of F1 without a doubt with 8 drivers' titles, or the other a giant slayer putting his name into the F1 history books for the first time in his career. This is the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The weekend started off to a flyer in qualifying as we entered Q1. Mercedes was straight on the pace, putting it in first and second in the first qualifying session, showing exactly what their car had to offer this weekend. With Red Bull's Verstappen and Perez only managing P3 and P4. Oh, and excitingly, further down the grid, for a very nutty geezer, Nicholas Latifi, it was the second time this season, last time in Brazil, that he had out-qualified his teammate George Russell. So congratulations, go Tiffy. Then going into Q2, the gap had officially shrunk to the Mercedes. Or so it would seem, with both Red Bulls setting their flying laps on soft tyres, meaning that actually the Mercedes were holding back and looking for a better situation in the race. The Red Bulls wanted to start the race on the softs, however the Mercedes wanted the alternate strategy of starting on the mediums. So then going into Q3, the one that matters the most, both teams had to be on fire. And for the first set of lap times, Max Verstappen would pull out something incredible from that Red Bull, extracting the maximum he could get from that car, going more than 5/10 ahead of his championship rival Lewis Hamilton in P2, with Perez, his teammate, 8/10 behind, and Bottas more than a second behind Max Verstappen's lap. So it was clear going into the final minute, Lewis Hamilton needed the lap of his career, and he could not pull it off, meaning Max Verstappen started the race on pole with Lewis Hamilton right behind him. However, what I didn't mention is Lando Norris came in with a massive time, getting up into P3 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Incredible stuff for the McLaren at this time that was not supposed to be there. Meaning for the start of the race, we wouldn't see any team sort of plays, because if there was a Perez in third place, potentially we could have seen him pushing Hamilton. However, with Norris there, it really was a clear cut Verstappen versus Hamilton and the rest of the grid. So if the championship ended after qualifying, it would have meant Verstappen led the championship 394.5 points, taking his first title, to Lewis Hamilton on 387.5 points. Let the race begin. 5 red lights and away we go. Hamilton got the perfect start, and before the breaking point, going into turn 1 was already ahead of Max Verstappen, with Perez taking Norris for third place, with Norris going wide. But for Hamilton, this was perfect, as he could now dictate the pace of the race and try to ruin Verstappen's early run on the soft tyres. However, Verstappen's start wasn't dreadful, as his teammate right behind him meant that they could start playing games as a Red Bull pair. But Max wanted to do it by himself.
Hairpin, and then Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton almost.
The stewards decided that there was no investigation needed. Comment down below what you think about this move. Should the stewards have done more there? But come the end of lap 1, Lewis Hamilton was still in first place after a bombardment from Max Verstappen, with Max Verstappen in second and Sergio Perez ultimately in third place. Valtteri Bottas was further down the grid, meaning he could not really wingman Lewis Hamilton for this race unless he really pulled up his socks. Then come lap 14, it was time for Verstappen's first pit stop, with Hamilton following him in the next lap, both going on to the hard compound tyres to try and go to the end of the race. However, this is where the team game started to take shape. Sergio Perez was strategically left out by Red Bull, knowing Lewis Hamilton would come out just behind him. As we can see, Perez pulled off a magnificent display during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I mean, this is why he got nicknamed the Mexican Minister of Defense. And it just shows. At the start of this situation, with Perez holding up Hamilton, Verstappen was 8.5 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Come Lewis Hamilton eventually getting the overtake on Sergio Perez on lap 21 after a lot of tries, Max Verstappen was now only 2 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. Surely the race was on. Well, sadly, that's not how the cookie crumbled. As the sad truth with the race pace of the Mercedes for Red Bull fans was that Max Verstappen just did not have it in him to actually match Lewis Hamilton on pace. And as the race went on and on, the gap just went even more. And by lap 53, as you could see, Verstappen was a whopping 12 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Meaning Max Verstappen needed a miracle, a hero, a knight in shining armour to win this F1 championship. And my God, did he get some help.
Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14.
The Williams of Nicholas Nutella Latifi crashed into the wall in Sector 3, bringing out the safety car for the final laps. And my God, was it chaos. By the time the safety car was coming in, some lap cars were allowed to overtake, meaning Hamilton was in first with Verstappen right behind him in second place. Verstappen had pitted for a fresh set of softs, with Hamilton and Mercedes deciding to stick it out on hards. And most importantly, there was only one lap left, meaning it was one lap of pure racing to decide the 2021 Drivers' Championship.
Overtaking zone is normally down into turn 5. Is Verstappen far enough back? He's going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees him coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race. A brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021.
What a finish. Max Verstappen had clinched his first ever Drivers' World title in Formula 1, officially putting his name in the history books forever. And honestly, it's one of those things where going on 5 years later, it's still such a heavily debated situation. There's so much drama always still going on about 2021, and I do really think that it's gonna stay like that for quite some time. But for me, Max Verstappen had done enough. I've always been of the opinion, and it's the very simple sentence of Max Verstappen deserved to win the championship, but did not deserve to win the race. End of. Max Verstappen had a better season. He full-heartedly deserved that championship. Lewis Hamilton deserved to win Abu Dhabi, but didn't deserve to win the championship. Some will call it a robbery, and some will say it's karma. It really depends on which side you are on. But what is done is done. And this would be such a turning point in Formula 1 history, with Red Bull and Max Verstappen going to dominate into the new regulations in 2022, 2023, and well, Max Verstappen at least dominating in 24. You can't say the same for Red Bull. And going into 2025, Max Verstappen as the reigning world title has a Lewis Hamilton still hungry in his new Ferrari seat to get that 8th title. Could we see a repeat? Only time will tell. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Like and subscribe.